Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. My name is Chad. Take a dive into sports, and welcome to my Week 6 college football pick and preview video. So we go over Week 6 action coming up, and there's a lot of key matchups. A lot of games could be very interesting in long terms, and especially in the SEC race. Now you start getting those key matchups between these ranked schools and see who's going to come out on top. See if programs can actually, weather the storm of their arch rivals, because there's a lot of rivalry games as well that's happening this weekend. And before I dive into all that action, if you could go ahead and smash that thumbs up, especially like the content provider. It really pisses you two guys, really help this channel out. You also subscribe. I love you guys review my work. I love you all for doing that. And I mean you subscribe because you a dime helps me provide more entertainment value for you. Now, going over last week, I decided to change the format for me doing these picks. I decided to go, okay, here's all my games. Here we go. And just run it. So going, here's 10, and here's like another 6 or 8 additional games. I'm going to go give you my slot. Maybe still give you a couple extra games on top of that. And it doesn't really change here either. I do have 12 games I'm going to highlight. I probably will mention about another 4 or 5 that I think could be interesting as well. But my main point is going to be on 12 games. And let's kick this off with a new holy war between BYU and Notre Dame. Those are at the two major religious universities that are independent. Square off in South Bend on Saturday, and Vegas. Excuse me, I said South Bend. I meant in Vegas. So the Mormons and Catholics do battle in Sin City for the souls of the citizens. With this one, right now, Notre Dame's favored by 3.5, and I do not understand why. Notre Dame's offense has not really highlighted anything that they can really hang their hat on. BYU had that phenomenal game against Baylor, in which they able to withstand Baylor and come back and win. And Baylor, I think, is a better football team than Notre Dame. I'm an Irish fan. You can tell right here. So I'm not just praising the Irish and expecting them to win everything. Right now, this is a offense that can't seem to find themselves. They get themselves in the way, and it's just either the offensive line doesn't hold up or silly penalties, and they just can't get the receivers open. And the running attack goes in and out. The defense can only do so much before it just runs out of gas. And if you look at some of their games, they were very, very close on a lot of these games. I mean, against North Carolina, they just had the thing of the Tar Heels kind of self-destructing. But BYU, I think, is a much better team. Hall should have a fabulous day against the Irish secondary, and I think BYU is going to end up winning. Like I said, I'm an Irish fan, and I'm going against them. As I readjust myself here to kind of, weather the storm, because now I'm going to go to another of my favorite teams, as you also could tell, we're going to go with the Illini playing host to Iowa. And as you know, Iowa plays defense. I think I mentioned that quite a few times last week, that Iowa plays defense. The Illini's defense is no laughing matter either. They handle Wisconsin quite handily, and Iowa's offense is pretty much inept. Right now, the Illini favored by 3.5, and I think it's going to be like a 3-point game anyways between these two. I really do. This is going to be a defensive slugfest. It's going to come down to the offense that makes the least amount of mistakes. And I think everything's going to run through Chase Brown for the Illini, and I think it's the Illini who are going to get a key win in that crowded Big Ten West Division race where 6 of the 7 schools are all at 1-1. Then we head down to Baton Rouge, where Brian Kelly and his Bayou Bengals, now ranked, and they shouldn't be, playing host at 8th-ranked Tennessee, and a Heisman mentioning quarterback Hooker. And I think, if Tennessee can handle Daniels' dual threat of being, a running quarterback and a passing quarterback, the Vol should have some success. I think it's a very good Tennessee team. I wasn't very high on them beginning of the year, The games they're starting to play, they're starting to look really impressive. This I think is going to be a true test for them right here to see if they will be able to challenge Georgia in the East. I don't think so. But I like this matchup. Nice top 25 matchup between two programs. And I'm going to go with Tennessee. Right now they're favored by 3. I think it might be a little bit more than that, but I will definitely go with the Vols. Then we had to Lawrence, Kansas. We're undefeated Jayhawks. Just weird to say that. We'll take on undefeated TCU. Both schools are ranked. TCU, of course, getting a higher bid because it knocked off Oklahoma, so I have no fault in that one. And this one, I actually went back and forth. TCU is actually favored by 6.5. But I've gone back and forth. Somebody's going to lose. And I am going to go right with Kansas right now until they prove me wrong. I know, just something about seeing Kansas doing very good. I just like seeing schools that haven't been in the spotlight, get their turn. And it's been a long time since the Jayhawks been in the national focus. So I'll go with Kansas. I think it's going to be a close matchup. But I think I'm just going to squeak past the Horned Frogs in this one. And speaking of rivalries, the Red River Showdown in the Cotton Bowl versus UT and OU, the Longhorns and the Sooners. This is a matchup that's been going on for years. And right now, both these schools are just playing terrible right now. Oklahoma's lost 2 in a row. So you're looking at not looking to stop that slide. Texas will get Ewers back as their quarterback. He looked really good against Alabama until he got hurt. Oklahoma's going this game with a chip on their shoulder. Right now, Texas favored by 8.5. But I have a feeling the Sooners going to go in here with a chip on their shoulder, avoid a 3-game slide, and they'll be able to outgun Texas in this one, like last year. It was a shootout, literally. Over 100 points scored between the two programs. I mean, it was ridiculous. It's like a 58-55. I mean, it was entertaining. That's what you want. You want entertaining football when it comes to college football. This is the game to go watch. But I will take the Sooners. In a key Pac-12 matchup between ranked opponents, as 4-1 Utah heads out to the Rose Bowl to take on 18th ranked UCLA. Chip Kelly's got this team buzzing right now. And they took out a very stoic school last week to maintain their undefeated streak. So I think it's time for them to kind of look at this aspect and try and say, okay, what can we do next to really plateau ourselves and get up there? Because the fans have been going out there, you can tell by the earlier games, but look who they played, and they struggled against South Alabama. So, but they're still undefeated. I'll give them credit for that. I don't see this program going undefeated anyways, and I'm going to take Utah. And I think it's just too I think the Utes have a lot of quality aspects of both offense and defense. They're a very well-rounded squad. UCLA will definitely put up the points. Utah's favored by 3.5. I think it's going to be a close game like that. Utah needs one of these marquee wins in the conference play to really get them back in the playoff picture spotlight, even though I think they're still sitting way outside. But I'd go with the Utes. It's all about the Utes. The two Utes. And staying out there in the LA metro area, we'll have 6th-ranked USC playing host to Washington State. Washington State is no pushover. They will take you to the limit. And Washington State, USC is favored by 13 because Caleb Williams is just a dynamic playmaker for Lincoln Riley. Brought him over from Oklahoma, and he fits right in with that scheme. The offense is really good, but Washington State has a defense. I think that is going to be a testament to what USC can do moving forward. USC did struggle against Oregon State. And I called Washington State pull off an upset against Oregon a few weeks back. It didn't quite happen. And I'm going to call it for here to win on the road to kind of put a blemish on USC's record because I don't think anyone's going to go undefeated. So I got to start giving some of these schools a loss, and sooner or later I get it right. But I'm also, looking at this one, like, yeah, I can see this going one direction, and I can see USC just crushing it. But I'm going to go Washington State's defense steps up to the plate and makes some key plays. And Ward is not a slouch either for a quarterback. And then one of the great rivalry names out there, Farmageddon, between K-State and Iowa State. Not very well known outside of that area, but I just love the name. Since they're both, rural universities surrounded by farmlands, it makes sense. Right now, Iowa State's starting to go in the wrong direction, especially since they're in conference play. They're 0-2 in conference, and I think this is going to be just a nail in the coffin for them. K-State is just too hard of an out because their quarterback, you don't know how to contain him. If you stop him from running, he's going to throw it over you. But if you stop the pass, he's going to run all over you. Is that dual threat aspect that he poses that will give Iowa State fits, especially for that defense, which looks pretty solid themselves. Deckers himself is not a shabby quarterback either. Right now, K-State's favored by 1.5, and yeah, it is definitely going to be a very close matchup between these two, but I will also go with K-State in this matchup. Then we'll head out to Raleigh, North Carolina, where 14th ranked NC State will host a fellow 401 member ACC, Florida State. Now, Florida State had a disappointment against Wake Forest. A lot of people thought they were about to knock them off. I don't think they're quite there yet, but I think they got the pieces going in the right direction for that program to make a nice turnaround to go back to what they had under Bobby Bowden. NC State's definitely a program that should be the leader of the ACC now. And this is another win that they need. That loss to Clemson might hurt them, but depends on how far Clemson goes. Depends if NC State can actually utilize that to make a very good bowl at the end of the year. If they can maintain their trajectory they're going on. Right now, NC State's favored by 3, and I think NC State is going to go out there and take it to Florida State. Give Florida State their second loss in a row. But I think it's just going to be too much Wolfpack on this one, and I will go with them in this matchup. Then the Deep South's oldest rivalry, Auburn will take on Georgia. Now, this one may not have as much flair as some of the other ones, especially since Auburn's kind of not performed the way they should have. I think maybe some should feel they should be. They're only 3-2. They always seem to be kind of lately a mid-card type of program. Now, it wasn't when they had Cam Newton where they were like the highlight. And I don't think anyone's going to stop Georgia right now. Maybe Tennessee or Kentucky later on. Highly doubt it. But right now, Georgia is just too strong. I don't think they'll have a field day. Right now, they're favored by 29.5. I doubt it will be that much. I really do. This is a rivalry game between two heated rivals. I think Auburn will make it closer than 29. But yeah, I'm definitely going with Georgia on this one to pretty much manhandle the Tigers. In a very unique matchup also in the Big Ten, Purdue coming off their upset win in Minnesota. Go ahead into Maryland to take on Tagovailoa to see, try to get them to bounce back off, get them back on their winning ways as well. And this is a really interesting aspect because Purdue has actually had a self-destruct game against Syracuse, in which I initially took out I had them eliminated because of that game, and then I brought them back when I revamped it. Because I realized I was starting to get rid of too many teams. But with them going to Minnesota, which they always seem to play other Big Ten West schools like that, very, very, very tight. And right now, Maryland is actually favored by 3. And I think Purdue can go in there and beat Maryland. I think their defense is good enough. If they don't self-destruct like they did against Syracuse, they should give Maryland all they can handle. It's Tagovailoa you have to worry about. He's the X factor in this game, but they're able to contain him and limit his damage. I think Purdue can edge out the victory by 3 and beat Maryland. And then another SEC West matchup between Arkansas and Mississippi State. Arkansas needs to get this win to stay relevant in the SEC conversation. Unfortunately, I don't see that one happening. Rogers is looking to try to solidify his draft stock. And I think this is going to be just a one-sided affair. Right now, Mississippi State's favored by 9. I think it's going to be at least that. Arkansas should make it somewhat reasonable, probably even come back a bit. But they're going to just fall short. To Mississippi State is going to capitalize on a mistake in the end of the game and make it like a 9-point victory. So I think the score won't indicate how close it's going to be, but I think it's going to be like that. So I'm going with the Bulldogs on that. Those are my 12. There's other handful of ones out there that should make some noise, possibly. You got A&M in Alabama. Does Bryce Young play for the Tide? Possibly aggravate his shoulder some more. I would say sit him because A&M's offense is just disastrous right now. So Alabama should have fun on the defense-wise, and then you can just go back with the guy that had him play. Just keep it simple. Just run. Go old school football in A&M. You should have no problems. I think right now Bama is still favored by a good margin. Bama's favored by 24. I doubt it'll be that much because I think Jimbo Fisher would actually make it a little more closer in that one. I think it'll probably at least be a 2-score game at least, and I think Alabama should be coming out top. In the North Carolina-Miami, 2 programs that have disappointing losses that they got to try to find ways. Miami right now is going the wrong direction. Getting May and Mac Brown into town is not going to help matters much, and I think North Carolina is going to take it down on the Hurricanes and go 2-0 in conference play. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State. The air raid offense of the Red Raiders taking on the Cowboys. I think Oklahoma State should be able to weather that storm and continue their dominance right now in Big 12 play, which not many people are taking too seriously right now, but I think Oklahoma State is going to be one of those sneaky little teams that just going to hang around and just find themselves sitting on top. Right now, the Okies are up by 9.5. And then a good matchup down there in Tucson was the Wildcats play host to Oregon. To be battle between the 2 quarterbacks, DeLoria and Mixon. Bo Nix. Well, I was thinking of someone else when it came with that name, didn't I? Jeez. But I know Oregon's favored by 13. I think it's going to probably be a 2-score game. Maybe not 13, maybe 10. I think Arizona should make it somewhat close, but Oregon definitely gets this win to get them back up there as well and kind of wipe away that trounce they got by Georgia in the first game of the season. But there you go. Those are my picks. Let's see how I kind of go. Like I said, last week I actually went 9-5 with my 14 picks, my best week ever. We'll see how this one transpired. This one I did kind of go a limb on some of these games, looking at undefeated teams actually getting their first loss, because I don't think no one's going to really go undefeated. Maybe Georgia might be the only one that right at this point in time and completely just blow out what I thought. Well, you never know. It's college football. Anything can happen. Just ask Oklahoma. They've lost 2 in a row. And so let me know down below which game you're looking forward to, which game you think I got completely wrong and I'm just out of my rocker. That possibly could be the case. But just let me know down below. Once you're there, make sure you hit that thumbs up once again. You can also share this video with your friends and family. It helps pump this channel out. Once you subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification and turn on notification. I'll let you know next time I post any more content on my channel. And trust me, this is a busy time frame for me. And I'll have content out coming pretty rapid fire And as always, I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.